Excellent, and we are live. Hello and welcome everyone to CircuitStream's November XR Development with Unity focused open house. Thank you all so much for joining us. Today we'll be talking about current XR industry trends as well as Unity's development engine. We're going to do a deep dive into CircuitStream's educational programs with an emphasis on our 10-week XR Development with Unity course. We're also going to be getting a first-hand account of what it takes to go from being an XR enthusiast to an XR development expert. I'm your host, Brendan, and shortly we'll be joined by our head of education, Jerry Medeiros, and our guest speaker, CircuitStream alumni and XR professional, Lee Walker. Now, before we get into it, I wanted to do a quick audio video check. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if you can see me. It would be greatly appreciated. Hello, everybody. Audio video is good. Lovely. Okay, excellent. We can continue. Also want to provide a quick overview of your layout here before we begin. So to the bottom right of your presentation screen, you should see a little bell icon. If any of these sounds or notifications are annoying to you at all, just go ahead and click that bell icon and it will silence everything. In terms of the chat section, feel free to engage with other audience members. We have team members in the audience as well, so feel free to chat them up. They would love to hear more about yourselves. If you have any questions throughout the duration of the open house today, I would ask that you direct them to the questions tab. We are going to be doing a Q&A towards the end, and that's going to help us stay organized and make sure we are on top of what questions have and have not been answered. So I'm your host, Brendan. Here we go. I'm an enrollment advisor here at CircuitStream. I'm on the admissions team. I come from a background actually in finance, or more specifically investment management. Made the jump because XR is just the most interesting thing to me right now. Fun fact about myself, I'm a competitive rugby player, and over my 15 seasons, I have never broken a bone playing that barbaric sport. Soon, we'll be joined by Jerry Medeiros. Jerry is a senior VR developer, instructor, and the head of education here at CircuitStream. He holds a bachelor's degree in games technology as well as master's degrees in computer science from both the Federal State University of Rio de Janeiro and Leibniz Hannover University in Germany. He also has over 10 years of experience in the 3D simulation, training, and gaming industries. Later, we'll be joined by Lee Walker. Lee graduated CircuitStream's XR Development with Unity course in February of this past year. Lee has worked in the technology industry for over 30 years. He has served as a chief technology officer at a large law firm, and for the past 15 years has run an IT service company in Daytona Beach, Florida, with almost 500 happy customers. He's always had the desire to create games and story software. He's now working on several projects in the AR and VR industry, and his primary focus is on an app designed to provide EMDR trauma therapy, but is also working on a fitness app and an app for the Oculus Launchpad that procedurally creates quest environments to allow for a game with endless replayability. I'm very excited to see what that looks like. Absolutely. Now, what's on the agenda for today? I'd like to take the first 5 minutes to shed some more light on CircuitStream. Then we'll take about 10 to 15 minutes to talk about where the XR industry is headed and what opportunities there are to get involved, as well as provide a brief overview of Unity's development engine. I'll then invite Jerry on stage to provide a thorough breakdown of our course offerings here at CircuitStream, which should take about 20 to 30 minutes. To add further perspective to that, Lee will be taking 10 to 15 minutes to share with us not just his experience going through our course, but how he went from being an XR enthusiast to an XR expert. Before we conclude, we'll take 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes more, depending on how curious the audience is, to field any questions that you have throughout the open house. And lastly, just a reminder, this open house will be recorded and sent to all registrants afterwards. If you have to take off a little bit early, you will receive the replay. Don't worry too much. So who or what is CircuitStream? Well, we were founded in 2015 when we identified a gap in the demand for education relating to augmented and virtual reality. Our goal has always been to share a foundation of knowledge on the best tools, processes, and workflows for Unity, as well as XR design and development. To date, we've helped over 40,000 learners develop these highly sought-after technical skills. And what we have here at CircuitStream is a global team of industry experts who are passionate about accelerating the AR and VR industry through education. We have team members and instructors all over the world, which also helps us accommodate students across multiple time zones and geographies. Chat's going off. Awesome. So CircuitStream is also a Unity training and channel partner. Partners are approved based on their expertise, their focus on quality education, and on the demonstrated success of their students. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Unity, they have created one of the most extensive and robust development engines on the market, which we'll shed more light on very shortly. Our instructors also maintain the highest level of certification offered by Unity. Now, speaking of certifications, very excited to also share that CircuitStream is one of the few educators in this space offering XR industry-specific certifications, but we'll talk more on that later. I'm also excited to share that we've been partnering with some of the most well-recognized educational institutions in the world. Our XR development with Unity course is now even more accessible to students through our university partners. Recently, we've started partnering with post-secondary institutions such as the University of British Columbia, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, the Talent Ladder powered by IWU, and the University of Toronto School of Continuing Studies. But who have we actually worked with in the past? So who have we actually trained? We've trained teams and professionals from some of the largest organizations in the world, such as VMware, Hershey's, Walmart, even the US Navy. And that's just to name a few. We work with organizations large and small, right down to the individual learner. Now let's talk about the XR industry as a whole. So if that last slide didn't give you a good idea of who's adopting this technology, here's an overview of the industries that are currently employing XR. So media and entertainment being probably the most obvious, but it's getting into retail, architecture, military, all kinds of markets and all kinds of industries. Organizations are adopting this tech to create efficiencies, to further innovate, and in use cases such as for the military as well as the automotive and manufacturing industries, immersive tech is actually helping to greatly reduce risk in these fields. Now, this isn't just happening in a certain area or market. We're seeing interest and demand grow all over the world. But what does that growth look like for the overall industry? Well, PwC released a report back in 2019 maintaining that 23.5 million jobs worldwide will be using augmented and virtual reality by 2030 for training, collaboration, and to provide new digital experiences. In that same report, they said VR and AR have the potential to add $1.5 trillion to the global economy by 2030. Now, more recently, Business Wire released a report projecting that from now until 2027, the value of the XR industry is expected to have a compound annual growth rate of about 66% per year. Now, coming from a finance background, those are very impressive numbers. But what does that really mean? And more importantly, what does that mean for you and me? As you can see, there are a number of roles and titles that require XR experience, from developers and artists to project managers and quality assurance. And who knows, maybe your ideal role has yet to be created. Also, for all you indie devs or artists, there's still a shortage of high quality content on XR marketplaces waiting for you to enter that arena. Also means that now is the best time to be expanding your skill set. So currently, XR experience is in high demand. This is exacerbated by the fact that job growth for AR and VR is continuing at a rapid pace. There's even new roles and titles regularly being introduced to the job market specific to AR and VR. And take a look at what happens when you have specifically Unity skills in your repertoire. That's right. Burning Glass, a company that researches real-time job market analytics, found that on average, professionals with Unity skills are making around $20,000 more in salary than their counterparts who are unfamiliar with this tool. So that's an interesting fact. Let's talk a little bit more about Unity then. What is Unity? So if you've seen this interface before, then you're most likely already familiar with Unity. And if you've seen that muffin clicker game on the screen there, then you've probably been through our C# scripting fundamentals course. But for those of you who aren't familiar, Unity is a free 3D development engine for building games, simulations, and experiences. It is also the easiest way to begin creating content for a multitude of devices and platforms, including augmented and virtual reality. In fact, we know that Unity is used to create over 60% of the world's AR and VR content currently. and is also responsible for an enormous share of the broader content and application markets. In fact, apps developed in Unity are downloaded about 3 billion times on a monthly basis. Billion with a B, yes. Their software is by and large borderless and can be used pretty much anywhere in the world, bringing a powerful creation tool to creators and innovators all over the globe. Now, this engine isn't powered by gas or coal. It's actually powered by ideas, your ideas. So using its tools, interface, and incredibly broad scope of functionality, you would build your idea in Unity's engine. Once you've created your application, you can then launch it on a multitude of devices using the relevant software developers kit, or SDK for short. Sounds pretty simple, right? It looks like there's only, like 3-4 steps there? Well, for those of you who have yet to download the free version or really get in there and familiarize yourself with it, Unity has quite the learning curve. Now, they have tons of great educational resources on their site, and there's no shortage of YouTube videos or blogs to help you along the way. But if you're looking to rapidly upskill and learn best practices, then look no further than right here at CircuitStream. So the focus of today is on our XR Development with Unity course, but I definitely wanted to give everyone a brief lay of the land here at CircuitStream with regard to our wider course offerings. So we recently launched our newest curriculum, the Introduction to Unity 3D Development 8-week course. The live instructor-led course focuses on Unity fundamentals and has students creating while they learn. By the end of the course, they will have created and launched a full application. The next round of cohorts will launch on November 29th for the Unity course. Now, if you're looking for XR-specific training, we also have our XR Development with Unity for developers and our Interaction Design and Prototyping for XR course for XR designers. Tehan, structured, spelling it out for everybody. Love it. Our course offerings include programs meant for beginners as well as intermediate or expert level designers and developers. From our structured flagship development design courses to our one-on-one mentorship and project support packages, we at CircuitStream provide students and professionals with a pragmatic approach to education in a highly technical field, and we supplement this with accessible and ongoing support. We offer these courses on an individual or group basis, and for any students or learners looking to attend these courses through a recognized post-secondary institution, definitely consider enrolling through one of our university partners. So the University of British Columbia Extended Learning will have cohorts beginning on November 16th of this year and January 11th, 2022. Similarly, cohorts will be starting on the same dates for any students who are affiliated with the University of Toronto School for Continuing Studies. The Talent Ladder, powered by IWU, will have their next cohort beginning on November 30th. And the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology will also have a cohort beginning on, you guessed it, November 30th. So you can take a deeper look at the XR Development with Unity courses being offered by these well-established educational institutions by visiting their respective websites, which we'll be posting and sharing very shortly, hoping Dehan or Shannon can help me out with that one. Now, to take a deeper look at our course curriculums and share previews of some of the projects you would be creating during the XR Development course, I'd like to invite Jerry Medeiros on stage. Jerry, are you with us?
Am I?
There he is. Okay, beautiful.
Can you see me, hear me well?
Looks great. Sounds great, Jerry. Thank you for joining me here.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
All right. Well, I will let you take over, but here is your first curriculum.
All right. Okay, so let's start with that. Let's start with the XR Development with Unity course. So this is our 10 weeks course focused on people that want to become programmers, specifically for VR and AR, MR, XR in general. So XR is like the most comprehensive term that we can use because it basically encompasses everything. But this course is focused on people that want to become programmers. So if you want to explore the programming language, how to build things in Unity, this course is for you. So if you can go to the next slide there, we can see how it is structured. So considering that this does not assume any previous experience, like you don't need to have Unity experience. If you do, that's amazing. It's okay. Well, knowledge is never enough, but we're going to go from the basics. So in the first module, we start with an intro to Unity, the panels there, how it works, how to create a project, the best way to manage this project. Then we jump a little bit into programming. So if you don't have experience with C Sharp, we're going to get from the beginning with variables, functions, and creating the building blocks there. And once everyone is familiar with Unity plus a little bit of C Sharp programming, we get into XR specifically. So we vary a little bit in between different tools. So we start in AR using Euphoria, then you go into VR, and you're gonna learn how to to represent the hands and teleport, grab things, throw things, the physics behind it, what is the code that you need to use for that. So basically, in the end, you're gonna have a couple of projects that you can use as a portfolio piece, and you can demonstrate like to prospect employers, or if you wanna have a project approved, you can basically create your prototype and show your capabilities. So that's it. This one is project based. It's focused on people that want to learn the programming language and build VR and AR from scratch there. Can we go? There we go. So a couple of examples of what people build, and I added that from the simplest things to the more complex things as the course progresses. So in the beginning, when everyone is getting familiar with Unity, we have a couple of challenges, and those are the results. A couple of our students they built just using primitives in Unity. So you don't need to have like modeling experience. It's just basically using like cubes, spheres, adding colors to that. It unleashes your creativity, but it also gives you confidence in playing around with the hierarchy, with transformations, moving around in 3D, which is super tricky if you're doing that for the first time. So we start with that kind of thing. If we go to the next slide, we're gonna have more complex scenes. So once you are familiar just using primitives, there are a couple more tools in Unity that can allow you to create environments, scenarios. They can be realistic, they can be fantasy like this ones. So it's basically like once you know how to use the tool, you can create the words that you have imagined there. Moving forward, we're gonna get into a little bit of AR. So those gifts this is the first challenge in AR that we give the learners, which is basically creating AR interactions with multiple image markers. So using Euphoria, you can see that you can have like 3D objects that exist in your real world. They can interact. So you can create like nice applications in there. A couple of people, they make like art installations. A couple of the students, they make tiny games, sometimes just like a visualization. So basically, that's one of the AR challenges. Moving forward, we're gonna have a couple more challenges that are more open-ended that require some scripting. So here you can see like we have that one by Andrew, which is basically like a wizard thing where you can like use this magic wand and cast spells. On the left, we have this one by Brain, which is basically like changing colors when you touch things, making the hand react to objects. So those are the things that require a little bit more programming. So we basically provide those challenges to simulate how people learn and practice there. And those are just a teaser. There are thousands of them, and I hope to see one that you built in one of the next open houses there. But just to show you what is possible with Team Field Weeks in there. And moving, so those are a couple of the students that were outlined there and what they're doing right now. So we have many successful students, the ones that dedicated time to build their portfolio, to learn from us, and that are working in different industries in there. A couple of them were accepted in the Oculus Launchpad. So a couple of them are changing careers, a couple of them built companies, but we have like very successful students in general after they take our courses there. And moving forward, now we get into the second course, which is for people that are not that interested in the programming aspect, but actually in the designing aspect. So what is better? Which solutions should we be building? How to test that with users? Is it better to use AR or VR, and why? How can I have like alternative designs, how to make this comfortable. So this course is based on the design principles. It's divided into big, oh thanks, it's divided like into big chunks. So the first one is more on UX and interaction design for XR. We're going to learn about human factors, how to make it comfortable, how to reduce motion sickness, what are the best strategies, how to test. And then we want to empower the designers to create with Unity as well. So we're gonna go under or over the creative tools in Unity. So we're gonna learn how to prototype for VR and AR, how to create a story using animations, effects, UI, how you can create that in an immersive way. So you're gonna have not only the theory behind design, but also how to apply that to create multiple prototypes. So they are complementary. They're like different streams. One is more the how, and the other one is more the why. So the dev is like, let's build it. The interaction is let's think about what we should be building. And well, together they form like most of the skills that people usually need. So you can pick one if you want to specialize. I know a couple of students that took both because they want to like know both aspects, but those are the main big offers that we have regarding XR education there. And now the newest one that we have, which is the Introduction to Unity 3D Development. So this one is a beginner course as well. Like if you have never seen Unity before, you don't know what it is about, you don't know if what you want to do is XR, is VR, is design. So you are like searching for a point to start. This course is for you. It's gonna go over, and if you can go to the next slide, yeah, it's gonna go over the essentials of the Unity engine. So you're gonna learn there what is possible to do in Unity, and then you can like understand and decide what career path you wanna take. So you can it's gonna give you like an overview of physics, a little bit of scripting, how to publish your application, how to make simple interfaces. So you're gonna experiment a little bit of the main features of Unity, and you can decide like, okay, now I know what it is, what is possible, where I want to go, and then you can decide if you want to go to XR Dev, to XR Design, or what you plan to do with your career. So this is basically for beginners. It's like the building block of everything that is needed in Unity. Another thing about this course that is cool is that you're gonna get prepared for the Unity user level certification, which is basically the entry level certification of Unity. So from there, you can basically do a bunch of different things. So we're gonna make sure that you are comfortable with Unity to a user level, basically like someone that can talk about the technology, knows what it's possible to do there, can create some simple things, and then from there, you can expand your career. And I think that's it.
Perfect, Jerry. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Definitely, we're about to chat with Lee Walker, but I'll look forward to bringing you back on for the Q&A.
All right. So I will see you in a while. If you have any questions, post them to the questions tab. I'm gonna be back to help answering them if I know the answers. So see you in a while. Bye.
Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I would definitely encourage any of our audience members to absolutely pick Jerry's brain. Lots of experience and tons of insight if you are looking to get into this field. So to shed more light on what it takes to build XR skills, I'll now invite Lee on stage. Lee, are you with us? Standing by?
How are you doing, sir?
Hey, there he is. Perfect. Good. How are you?
Very well. Very well.
Good. Thank you so much for your time today and being here. I'm sure our audience would love to learn more about you. Would you mind sharing a brief introduction?
Okay. Well, let's see. I graduated from Stetson University almost over 30 years ago now. In the 30 years since, I've worked in the IT industry the whole time. I've done everything from wiring hotels to building server farms. But I've always had a desire to be a developer. It just isn't an industry that's common in the area I'm in. So I never really had the opportunity. when I put my Oculus Quest on a couple of years ago, I realized that that's really what I wanted to be working for and what I wanted to be developing for. And I started taking training and studying to get the skills I needed in order to be able to do it. And it's been an interesting journey, but I'm really happy with the way it's going so far. So.
Much appreciated. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. So I have a couple questions for you here. Definitely
Sure.
want to pick your brain while we have the opportunity. You kind of mentioned how you got started, but what was that kind of first big step in actually receiving or getting your education around XR?
I started working with tutorials on YouTube, which will get you some distance. I mean, you can learn quite a bit. I had a pretty good basic knowledge before I started with Circuit Stream. The thing it doesn't do is give you a full end-to-end education, and it doesn't really have any clout. You can't go to an employer and say, I studied on YouTube, I'm ready to go. It just doesn't, there's no bearing there. So I did that, and I also did some online classes through a group that studies on AltSpace. They teach CS classes in AltSpace, and I was getting a pretty good start on it. So I was kind of a step ahead when I started Circuit Stream. The basics were already there. Made a big difference. It made it feel like I made a lot more progress through the CS classes.
Okay, right on. So how after almost like your self-directed approach to start, how did you end up coming across Circuit Stream? Like what made you kind of look deeper into what we were kind of offering?
I believe somebody mentioned to me the first time at a Spatial Ape XR gathering. I don't know if you know about this group. There's a group called Spatial Ape that they showcase developers. And I was talking to somebody about what I was trying to do, and they mentioned Circuit Stream and suggested that I check you out. And I went and looked you up online, and it took a little while to make the decision. It was probably a month of thinking about it before I decided that's what I needed, but I'm very happy I did. So.
Awesome. Well, we are too. And obviously you have tons of great applications on the go, which is super exciting. Can you share with us some of the challenging parts of your journey so far, as well as what have been, some of the rewarding highlights along the way?
Yeah. So when I did this, I assumed I'd get through the class, I'd take my certificate, I'd go apply for jobs, and there'd be one waiting for me. And that's not really the way it works. Everybody wants to see a portfolio. Most places want at least some experience in the development industry. I can't do anything about the experience, but I could definitely build a portfolio. So I started doing game jams and participating in programming competitions and anything I could find, and going to things like the VRARA conference online. If you go searching, you can find probably half a dozen VR or AR events every week that are free and online, and you can go participate and meet people in the industry and just sort of become a part of the environment. So I started doing that. I started building a portfolio. I started producing software that I could show people and tell them I've written this. And I started connecting with people in the industry. And it took probably 4 months to really start getting traction. But after about 4 months, I had a really good portfolio. I had a good resume, and I started getting calls back. There are 3 big projects going right now. I started a project while I was in the class there that's kind of on the back burner right now because the other things are kind of taking precedent. It's a fitness app based on the motion of drumming. It's basically a tower defense game where you bang drums in order to charge the towers and keep them powered up. And you're fighting off a horde of incoming insects that are they look horrible. They're awesome. And I'll get that finished before the end of the year. I'm pretty sure. I just the second app I'm working on has kind of been taking most of my time. I did a contest where you had to design a product in 5 days with the guidance of industry experts. And the product that I came up with is an EMDR application to treat traumatic stress syndrome for anybody, but soldiers or individuals. It doesn't really matter. It's a PTSD treatment that's been around for quite some time, and it works very well. And I'm developing a remote app that'll allow you to have that treatment any place in the world. And I'm doing that in cooperation with a group called Kaleidoscope XR. That's going to be big. So
that's really exciting. And I mean, that just, that's a testament to how this technology can be applied in so many different spaces. Obviously, I think most people, when they think of AR or VR, it's for entertainment purposes, but there's tons of industries adopting this technology who are really looking to apply it for, the betterment of society altogether. So it's always exciting hearing initiatives like that are in development. Hopefully, we get to see the finished product soon.
Yeah. Well, and the last one is Oculus Launchpad. When I started putting applications out, I apply literally for everything that interests me. I got to participate in the MIT Hack the Hack this year. I hope to be in the hackathon with them next year. But I also applied for Oculus Launchpad and got picked up by them. And the project that I'm working for, I don't know if you ever watched Stargate. It was one of my favorite shows. I'm writing a program that's kind of a cross between Stargate, Rick and Morty, and the Sliders. The idea is to have a portal that can take you to all kinds of interesting worlds where you can go questing for items. And I'm trying to integrate it with the Oculus Presence platform so that the things that you find there can stay with you and be part of your avatar later on. So you can actually go find things that'll be part of your world after. So.
My girlfriend's not gonna like that she's lost me to your upcoming application. I'm gonna be questing hard. In terms of your experience with CircuitStream, can you describe what it was like going through the XR development course?
Yeah, I tried to treat it like a job. I tried to treat it as my job for that time period. So I set aside the time. I made absolutely sure I was ready to do it. I got something out of every single class, even the ones where we were covering things that I already knew pretty well. I got at least tips and tricks or things that would make my work faster. And the one-on-ones with Cash were phenomenal. They were just awesome. I'd come in with a base set of problems and a list of things that I wanted to work on, and we'd work on them for about half an hour and pound them out. And he just kept me moving and kept the projects flowing. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Cash is a super, first of all, super interesting guy. And then he's a great instructor in that he is happy to, break down any, I'll say concept or anything you're questioning to its kind of simplest format. So it's easy to digest for you. He's very good at that. So are all of our instructors, but now that you've graduated from the XR development with Unity course, how will you look to utilize your skills with XR going forward? You've kind of already shed a little bit of light on that, but.
Well, I'm working on the big three projects right now, and I'm hoping to have hit milestones with all three of those before the end of the year. The Oculus Launchpad is a big piece of it. I want to have a product that I can present there. And if that works, you end up usually getting funding so that you can move your product forward and try and produce it. So those are my three focuses right now. But honestly, I love every bit of the industry. I actually just took the professional programmer exam from Unity a couple of weeks ago. Oh, wow. I don't have my results back yet, but I took it as the prototype. They were just starting a new version of the test, and they invited me to do the beta for it. So oh, wow. If I passed it, I get the certification, but I got the opportunity to take it as a beta tester. And I just am going to do everything I can possibly get into in the industry. I'm going out to the AWE conference in California. That starts next week on Tuesday. It's one of the largest, it's Augmented World Expo. It's one of the largest VR AR conferences in the world. It has probably 300 of the biggest companies and 3,000 visitors from all across the industry.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to the ITSEC conference in the beginning of December, which is, I didn't know it until I started into this, but Orlando, which is not far from where I live, has become the center for simulation and modeling for military training and simulation in AR and VR. And the largest conference for that is in Orlando in December, so I'll be going to that as well.
Okay, beautiful. So it's somewhat local to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. It seems like the industry's following you around.
I'm doing my best to get involved as much as I possibly can. My wife laughs once in a while because I'll do things like write the president of the Vive because of the Vive flow that they put out. He had a post out on LinkedIn, and it's like, okay, let's talk. So I'll write to anybody and discuss anything with them. I love the industry. So
that's incredible. So that's exactly what I think this industry needs to grow even more. And I'm sure you absolutely aced that test. Unity's probably going to be like, oh no, we didn't make it hard enough because they had an absolute expert take a crack at it. But
well, it's actually I didn't take the beginners. I took the 3rd level test, and it was tough. Tough, but we'll see. I'll let you know if I passed it. I think I did well enough. I hope I did well enough. But it was interesting.
Yeah. Please let us know. Very
right.
Curious. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Lee. So it's always a pleasure chatting. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. And what I'll do is I'll invite you back on stage during the Q&A. I'm sure we'll have a few questions for you as well. Do you have a time stop for this session?
I do not today. No, I'm doing great. I dropped my LinkedIn address in the chat if anybody wants to get a hold of me. If anybody's going to be out at the AWE, drop me a note too. We're trying to organize a dinner so everybody can kind of meet and get together. So
absolutely love it. Awesomely.
Right.
Well, I just have to share a few more bits of information around our courses, but we will have you back on stage shortly. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lee. Holy smokes, lots on the go for Lee. That's great to hear. He's definitely a proponent of the XR industry and its growth. So always great to have somebody representing the industry. So in terms of all of our courses, just wanted to share a little bit more information and kind of expand on what Jerry's already mentioned. Our courses here at CircuitStream, they are beginner friendly, so fear not if you have no Unity or XR experience just yet. They are, very much entry level. I know Lee brought a little bit of experience, a self-directed education to the table, but we do cover, the basics, the fundamentals, from C#, Unity, all the way up to, launching applications. The only requirement that we actually have are hardware requirements. So for any of our XR courses, ideally you have a device you can use to test or run applications, but it is not a requirement. Really, the only requirement is that you have hardware that's capable of running Unity. All of our programs are platform agnostic, so they're designed to provide you with the ability to launch applications on a multitude of devices, whether you prefer headsets like the Oculus Quest 2 or mobile devices like Android or iPhone. Now, personally, my favorite part of the education we provide has to be our CircuitStream community. So it's a great place to network, collaborate, or participate in events like the game jam. I know Lee is currently involved in one of our game jams in the community, and he's probably smashing it. It's also where the enduring support for our students and alumni resides. So we have open office hours 5 times a week with our instructors that are available to existing students as well as all of our alumni. Now, this is great for continued learning, for troubleshooting and project support. And I just want to give a massive shout out as well to Lucy, our student experience coordinator, who is also mixing things up regularly in there with coffee hours, showcases, and events like Demo Day, where our students are invited to share their personal projects and stories and possibly generate interest in anything that they have on the go. Now, to echo Jerry's breakdown earlier, all of our flagship courses are live instructor-led curriculums and have plenty of avenues for enduring support for both students and alumni. Our Introduction to Unity Development is a beginner-friendly course that has you concentrating on Unity's fundamental systems, processes, and best practices for development. Throughout the 8 weeks, you are applying what you learned to build a culmination project. Similar to our XR programs, this course is delivered twice a week, with each live session being an hour-and-a-half in duration. You gain lifetime access to the community. You receive a CircuitStream badge of completion, as well as a Unity user certification. The course is normally $2,500 US. However, we currently have our upcoming November 29th cohort priced at 50% off. So that's right, it's 50% off, and it's also a guarantee that you will pass the user certification exam or your money back. So now is the best time to be asking about this course and securing your seat. Now, our XR Development with Uni course is also live, instructor-led curriculum that, as Jerry highlighted, is a project and portfolio-driven learning experience, supplemented with opportunities to acquire an XR industry-specific certification, as well as a Unity certification. You will leave the course with up to 7 portfolio pieces and hands-on experience with augmented and virtual reality development. Course is priced at $3,950 US, and the next upcoming cohort is beginning on November 30th. So both of our beginner-friendly XR courses are structured very similarly. So with our interaction design and prototyping course for XR, you can expect the same project-driven, live instructor-led format, complete with its own XR designer-specific certification. Like the previous 2 courses, you will also have lifetime access to the supportive CircuitStream community, as well as your class recordings for convenient viewing at any time. Course is also priced at $3,950 US, and the next cohort will be beginning on November 8th, and then again in February on the 7th. So I also wanted to just share getting ahead of myself here. So one more quick note about our beginner-friendly XR courses is we have the standalone option, which includes your desired course. We're also currently offering a plus package, which includes either of our 10-week courses, but also our C# scripting fundamentals course, an Oculus Quest 2 device, and 10 hours of dedicated one-on-one time with an instructor, which you would use in tandem with the course. We recommend using that for project support, but you can also use it to delve deeper into different XR concepts, both in or outside of the curriculum. Now, just to share a simple visual to give you an idea of the certification path for each of these beginner-friendly courses, the Introduction to Unity Development course will reward you with a certificate of course completion and an earned Unity user certification. XR Dev with Unity will help you achieve CircuitStream's XR Developer certification and put you on track to complete the Associate Programmer certification through Unity. And lastly, Interaction Design will help you achieve CircuitStream's XR Designer certification. And we believe nothing says I'm an authority on the subject matter quite like having an established portfolio and relevant, well-recognized certifications to suit. Now, for anyone who's already quite advanced but are looking to add structure and external support to a capstone project, definitely take a look at our one-on-one mentorship and support packages as well. So we have these support packages that are offered outside of any of our curriculums. They're meant to be very flexible, very open-ended, and to serve all different levels of experience. Now, we also have payment plans which can be applied to any of our flagship courses. So we have a 3, 6, and 12-month option just to help you manage that cost over time. So feel free to ask anyone on the admissions team about those. So if you'd like to chat more in depth about your Unity or XR education goals, or perhaps learn more about CircuitStream and any of our course offerings, contact our admissions team. So Rohan, Leanne, Tyler, Christina, or myself will be happy to connect and have a conversation about finding your best approach. If you're interested in learning more or want to download the syllabus or even apply today, you can visit any of these links. So we have the UBC, U of T, IWU, and NATE links posted here. Make note of which one is most relevant to you. We also have our main CircuitStream website, circuitstream.com/learning. That's where you can find all of our course material. So I wanted to thank you all very much for joining us today. Special thank you to Lee and Jerry for sharing their time and insights with us. And at this point, I'd like to kick off the Q&A. So I'll invite Lee and Jerry back on stage to field all the great questions you've asked throughout today's open house. Lee, Jerry, are you still with us? Perfect. Welcome back, Lee.
Hello.
Excellent. Awesome. So we have tons of great questions here. So I will get started. I'm just going to order these. Excellent. So first question is from Lennox. I am currently a UX designer. What is the pathway to be a designer in the XR industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you have any takes on that, Lee, before I jump in? Or
Well, you have a class on XR design that would definitely help with that. But honestly, it's from what I'm finding, it's as important to have a people connection as it is to have a technical understanding. You need to get involved and talk to people. Just get out there. That's it.
Cool. Yeah, I second that. And one of the things that I usually say is that if you're already a UX designer, you already know a lot about best practices and how to listen to the user. So what you probably need is just to understand what are the differences, like what it feels like working in 3D, for example, because designing for web, for example, is completely different. Like you need to take care of pixel sizes, and it's something that just doesn't exist in 3D. The pixels don't matter because you are in a 3D space. So you need to know like about what is the difference between 3 degrees of freedom and or 6 degrees of freedom. What are the limitations? How comfortable it is to hold like a controller like this or like that. So what I usually say is that you need to try to find alternatives to change your traditional design thinking for 2D spaces into 3D spaces. And there are many different ways of getting that. And as Lee outlined, we have a course that's definitely for that. So the XR interaction design and prototyping is a course that helps people, not only the ones that are starting, but the ones that already have some design experience and want to transition. So we had Kim Allen with us, and if you get the video for the last open house where she was here, she was talking about it. Like she already had design experience, and the course was like really important for her to understand the differences and to learn the technical skills to create the prototypes and bringing them to life. So this is another thing. Like the tools, they can be used, the tools that we already know, like XD or Figma. But there are better tools to work in 3D. So getting in contact with those, which is something that the course helps with, is definitely a possibility. But I think for someone that is already a designer, like UX designer, it's just this focusing on this transition from the traditional design to the new aspects that are important in VR, in AR, in 3D in general. But that's it. That's what I think.
Yeah, great call, and great question, Lennox. Next question is from Emiliano. Is it possible to do AR for Oculus instead of a phone or tablet?
Kind of. So, like the easy answer is no, because the Oculus Quest is a VR device, and the pass-through was not available to developers up to really recently. So I would say yes, not perfectly, but yes. Right now with the Quest 2, we have access to the pass-through API. So basically, you can see through the lenses and add your elements in there. It's super experimental, it's super initial, but it's possible at least right now. So phones or head-mounted displays such as the HoloLens, they're still a lot better because they were designed by that. But it's possible to do that with the Quest 2. With the Quest, original Quest, it's not possible.
The Oculus Launchpad program, they told us that is going to be out of experimental by early next year. Nice. And that the new device, the Cambria that they're talking about, will actually have pass-through color so that you can do full AR.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like they are just experimenting with that, and the pass-through camera on the Quest, it's terrible. It's black and white, like grayscale and terrible resolution. So I've seen that they're planning to add like color, and this is gonna change everything because you're gonna have like a versatile. Oh, in my opinion, the Quest is already the most versatile one there because it's cheap. It is standalone, but also Thatcher, so you can do a lot with the Quest. Now that they added like this AR thing to it, and when they bring it to life outside of experimental feature with color, for example, you're gonna have like a VR and AR headset in a single thing. So it's gonna be super cool. Waiting for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, can't wait for that to come down the pipe. Great question, Emiliano. Next question is from Stephanie. If the XR development course is tailored for beginners, what's the point of the Intro to Unity 3D course?
Well, they're completely different courses. So the XR development, you're gonna dig into. It's longer. It's more intense. You're gonna get into AR and VR projects. So it's for someone that already knows that they wanna go for VR and AR. Because in Unity, you can do a bunch of different things. You can work with visualization, with product placement, with architecture, construction, engineering. There's a lot of different things that you can do, and it's a huge engine. Like there are a million features in there. So the Intro to Unity 3D, it's the building block of everything. Like it's not gonna specify in VR, and you're not gonna not invest your time in AR and VR plugins or techniques, for example. Whereas in the development course for AI, it's an XR development course. It's already like focused on that. So one is more broad and more introductory. The other one is more narrow. So they are different. You're gonna have like different skill sets in general.
Yeah, the way I kind of describe it is like if you're wanting to learn specifically AR and VR development, then it's going to put you like the XR development is going to put you on the fast track to doing that. If you're interested in learning the entirety of Unity's functionality or becoming really familiar with the fundamental kind of processes, that's where Intro to Unity really shines through. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to specialize right away into AR VR, the XR development course is going to give you a very solid curriculum and structure around that kind of education. If you are looking to take Unity in any number of other directions, it's great to get a very kind of base foundation understanding with the tool. So that's kind of the difference there. Would you say that's accurate, Jerry?
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, great question, Stephanie. Next question is from Ted. I would love to know more about accessibility in XR. Are there any tools or best practices that makes this technology available to people with barriers, blind, deaf, etc.?
That's something super new. As it happened, like in software development in general or web development in general, people don't usually think about accessibility first. They're like just trying to get to a place where they can build things, and then accessibility comes after, which is not the best way to do it. Of course, like we should be thinking about universal design, something that can be accessible for by everyone. In VR and AR in general, it's a huge challenge because for blind people, for example, how could they experience VR? Because the way the hardware works is it relies on your vision a lot. So there are lots of challenges in there. During the XR interaction design and prototyping course, we do discuss those kind of things. And during the one-on-ones, we can discuss that even further. I had myself one student in one-on-one that was focusing on creating her own standards for accessibility. So this is something super new. It's super challenging, but it's super important as well. So if you're interested in that, I definitely recommend that you get some research and see how it goes. But we do have an accessibility workshop that they just posted in there where it's discussed a little bit. But it's not easy. It's like it's definitely not easy. It's not something that we have like a Bible of guidelines, something that people are still figuring out. Of course, there are some best practices, and we discuss them, or a couple of them at least. But it's something that needs a lot of work. So it's a good niche to explore.
Yeah, definitely. Lee, just given like your involvement in the community, is this something that you're finding is becoming more and more important? Is it becoming more and more, I'll say, like focused on?
It is huge with Oculus. It's one of their major objectives right now. It was part of our Oculus boot camp when we first started the program. They had and I was looking for the thing. I've got basically a deck of cards that they gave us for the Launchpad that have descriptions of different people's disabilities. And the idea is that you can draw the cards and go through them and see if there's a way to make your software conform so that that person could still participate. But yes, it's huge for Oculus right now. I just found here, I don't know if I can pop this in here or not. I'll put it on the chat because I'm not sure where to find that. This is an XR collaboration guide that's available. But yes, I'm seeing a lot of that. There are different groups. They're not usually specifically VR focused, although they work with VR and XR. Most of them are focused around making gaming accessible to everybody.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, definitely an important initiative that needs to be considered.
You should also take a look at thinking about this Oculus, Unity for Humanity. The Unity software has a division that's specifically focused on doing things that are good for individuals. And if you do a search for Unity for Humanity, they have a grant system, and a lot of their stuff is focused in that area too.
Okay, great. That's news to me, so that's great to hear about. And that's a wonderful question, Ted. Next question is from Stephanie again. So I'm also a UX designer. What is the industry demand like for XR designers? What's your experience like as developers working with designers? Couple to unpack here.
Yeah, I think I can start with the demand. This is something, and I was there to collaborate with the blog post about careers in XR because he recently wrote something super cool, unpacking the industry and the differences in there. There are a couple of jobs in there. So one thing that I have been seeing a lot is it's growing. It's growing really quickly. The demand for XR designers. Just today, someone shared with me a position at Facebook for XR designer, and usually what they ask for is experience with not only the concepts of XR, but also experience with one of the engines. Most of the time, it's Unity as well, because if you have like an idea or an interaction that you want to convey and test, it's super hard to do that without the knowledge of 3D, any 3D tool out there. So knowing how to work on the engine is something that helps a lot. So the demand is growing. Well, it's honest to say that the demand for developers is still bigger, as I think it's like that, even in web development or other fields. But the demand for design is growing a lot because, you cannot basically create a good project that makes sense, that solves the problem without having someone with design knowledge involved. So yeah, it's growing there. And regarding experience as a developer working with designer, so I want to hear from Lee if he has some experience with that.
One of my favorite quotes is from a designer. It's if an interface is like a joke, if you have to explain it, it's not very good. Most of the folks I've worked with are in-house at Kaleidoscope, and they're very helpful. They basically think of things that I don't necessarily, because I'm more about the functionality and making the code solid. Very helpful to work with them. But those are really the only designers I've worked with, other than in a few challenges. I did a Hack the Hospital challenge where we had some designers that were very interesting. They were specifically focused on making sure that anybody could step into the experience and run it without having to be taught how to do it, which was very cool. But yeah, limited experience with that right now. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, great question, Stephanie. That was another one from Stephanie. Next question here is from Luis. What are the different job roles you can have as an XR or AR designer?
Yeah, so I'm gonna refer back to the blog post that is just there that they just shared there, picking your career in XR designer versus the developer path, because there we have a couple of examples. So the names, they vary a little bit from company to company. So I've seen like XR designer, AR designer, VR designer. Sometimes it's like a prototyper. I have been seeing Facebook, for example, calling them prototyping or prototypers because they want to focus not more, but also on the technical skills. So yeah, he just shared there 10 in-demand XR jobs. So the names, the titles and the names, they are a little bit weird because everyone is inventing something and they're discovering this. But in general, they're going to be around like XR development or XR designers, like XR engineer, simulation engineer. It depends. What you need to check is basically the duties, like what they're requiring from you. Is it like technical expertise? You need to know how to program. You need to know how to integrate with the SDKs. Or what they want you to do is something that supports more the user. So understanding the needs, understanding the best solution, testing, prototyping, testing with the user, communicating the vision to the team. So this would be more on the design or product side. So the roles, they are either towards like technical skills in terms of programming, or more design skills related to like people and business. But the names, they vary a lot. It's something you need to tweak your search here and there. But I recommend checking the blog post that Dejan just shared in there. There are a couple of examples so you can understand where it's going, like what is the majority of them are going at. But it changes a lot.
Yeah, and I can just kind of expand on that a little bit. Like a lot of the people that I've spoken with about the interaction and prototyping for XR course, they are like a lot of UI, UX, and product designers are drawn to that course because it's almost like rather than going out and seeking other jobs, there are organizations that are looking to adopt this technology. And as this becomes more and more widely adopted, those kind of roles will remain the same, but will require upskilling. So that's kind of one aspect of it, where you're not necessarily looking for a new title or role, but rather the technology is changing over. So yeah, UI, UX, and product designers have found a lot of traction with the interaction design course we have. That's a great question as well. Next question is from Aisha. So where could we look to find contract or project positions? Is there an Indeed for XR?
Blend Market.
What's that?
There's a group called Blend Market where you can go put in as an XR developer, and they will send you notifications when people look for AR or XR contract jobs. So yes, absolutely. There's another one that somebody sent me a link to on Facebook today. I don't remember the name offhand, but let me see if I can find it real quick. But yes, there are places that you can do that.
Blend Market. Okay, awesome. I've never heard of that either.
That's new to me too. That's good. But you can still use the traditional ones like Indeed and just filter, or LinkedIn is really good for that. You can filter for XR, and you can filter for like contract position or freelance position. And I think that I've been seeing people using is Upwork and or those kind of tools where you can search for jobs in there, like actively search and see. So there are a couple of options there, but a good addition. I didn't know about this blend market. That's cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Lee.
Another one in chat. This one's apparently just starting out, but it's the same kind of idea. You can join as a creator, and they give you contract work to do AR, VR content development.
That's
my goodness.
That's super cool.
Everyone at the live session is getting like free tidbits of great information from Lee. So just eat that up, copy those links, because he's a wealth of knowledge on the community right now. And then just another thing I wanted to mention is what's cool about the certifications that we provide here at CircuitStream is it's basically a digital badge that has all of the kind of skills and experience that you will have gained through the course, and it links them to local job markets as well. So any jobs in your area as well that are related to the skills that you've developed, your badge will actually be able to help you kind of find those opportunities. So definitely worth taking a look at that. Next question is from another one from Stephanie. Very inquisitive, Stephanie. I love it. What is the difference between XR development and interaction design for prototyping for XR courses?
Well, I think we ended up answering. The outcomes are different in terms of skill sets and careers. So the XR development with Unity is more focused towards coding the how to build aspects of the things, whereas the interaction design and prototyping is more towards the design aspect. So it's more like the whys. So one is more like how to build something from scratch, and the other one is finding out what to build, having different alternatives and testing them. I recommend you check the blog post comparing the careers again, because it compares not only in terms of the course, but also in terms of the skill sets in the career. So that's a good source to understand like where your place, where your aspirations, and which one would be better.
Yeah, great point. Or you just, cover all the bases and take both, and then you'll be an XR stud.
Yeah. Some people do that. Yeah.
Great question though, Stephanie. Ted, who's hiring at the moment? Interesting question.
Everyone is. If
Yeah.
you go into like Facebook, Snap, Microsoft, all of the companies that have involvement with XR in somehow, they are hiring. Like so, well, I'm pretty sure someone's gonna. Oh, Facebook, Apple, Snap. Yeah, that's true. Everyone is hiring. So all of the companies that have some involvement with XR, they are open. They have openings. So everyone is.
Facebook said that they're hiring 10,000 new people to work on this.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
And Apple is trying to catch up. So they're hiring as well. They're just trying to see who's going to get there first. So there are plenty of jobs open there.
Both of the behemoths are looking to hire an entire army. So slip your applications out there. Great question, Ted. Question from Manu. What kind of support is available to students after taking the XR development courses?
phenomenal support. The XR community online is incredible. The office hours are open to past students as well, so you can go in and ask questions there. But the community overall supports the graduates long into the future. It is awesome. I still go there probably on a daily or every other day basis and communicate with people. I've made friends there that I do game jams with. I'm meeting some of them in California for the AWE. We actually rented a house together out there, so we go meet and visit and go to the conference together. So, yeah, the support's fantastic.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Jerry, any comment here?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think I need to comment because Lee's talking from his own experience. But one thing that I would like to highlight is that the community is open even after you finish the course. So you still have like lifetime access to the recordings. So if 8 months after the course you want to recap or check something again, you can go back to the recordings and watch it. But in the community, everyone is there. So you have direct access to the instructors. You have the office hours that happen daily in different times. So whenever you have a question, either the alumni or the instructors, they're going to be there to support you. So you basically have lifetime support.
Yeah, the office hours are very open-ended too. Like you can kind of leverage the expertise of our instructors in many different ways. If that's expanding on your current understanding or knowledge, or getting project support or troubleshooting, like they're happy to delve into these kind of questions with you. So that's something that you can utilize on an ongoing basis. It's lifetime access. So that's a huge resource. Great question. Next question is another one from Stephanie. One last question. Okay. What's the pay range like for XR dev and designers?
I think it depends a lot, but even starting, it's good. I think like the smallest amount I have seen, like for someone entry level, is like 60,000 per year. But it can go like to 200,000. It really depends. I think we have a comparison on that in a blog post, and maybe Dan's gonna share that as well with some actual data that you can look into. But I think it's gonna be it's the same blog post. Thanks, Dan. So you can check there, but it's a good even for someone starting. It's usually something good there. So it's at I'm just looking into here. Like most of the ones that are there are at 82K to 120. There's a couple of 170. So it really depends, but it's usually not bad.
Well, and Kristen was taking the class at the same time I was, Kristen Monsanto, and she just got her first developer job for a little over 80,000 in Colorado. So yeah.
Oh wow, awesome.
Yeah, so it depends a lot on where you are. Yeah, as they are saying there, like where you are, the size of the company. Probably if you go to like a smaller company, it's gonna be smaller, but usually it's good even for someone to start. Like I don't think it's gonna be less than 60K. Even if you have like just basic experience, it's gonna be around there. Like, of course, you need to be good. You need to know what you're doing in there. That's why we make this like project based and hands-on approach, so you can get comfortable. But it's usually it's not bad.
Yeah, definitely in demand right now. So it's an interesting time to be looking.
It's the beginning of the industry. We're still just a little bit past where if you think of it like the iPhone, we're not that far in. We haven't really even hit the point where it starts to accelerate into the main market, but I think we're really close to it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Next question is from Ching. So, is Unity compatible with Facebook Metaverse, or I suppose will it be?
That's something we cannot. Well, I assume yes, but who knows? What is the Facebook metaverse? Like that's something that it's just a buzz right now. It's not like techno. First of all, like the metaverse is not a technology. It's like it's bigger than that. It's a conjunction of lots of technologies plus lots of content that needs to be created. So one of the things that I was listening in a podcast yesterday, I can't remember which one, is that they are like saying that with this metaverse, not the Facebook metaverse, but like the 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 real metaverse happening in a couple of years, we're gonna have a high demand for content creators because the environment is gonna be there, the heart is gonna be there. So what do we do there? So if you know how to model, for example, and you're like an interior designer, you're gonna be highly valid because you can create things for this. So it's hard to say like compatible with the metaverse because it's not a technology, but what you can create in Unity, like universes in there, experiences in there, definitely it's part of the metaverse already. So the Facebook metaverse is something that we need to unpack a little bit in the following years because right now it's just like buzz and fuzz. It doesn't mean anything because what they usually call metaverse, and I hate this term, is basically it's a state where everyone it's not a technology. It's just like a shift from the type of it's like the internet. Like when we say the internet, it's not a one technology. There's not Google is not like Google Chrome is not the internet. Your provider is not the internet. Basically, the internet is a place where things happening and it's lots of technology in there. So the metaverse, as they envision it, is basically the same thing. Like it's a more immersive network where everyone can exist digitally. So I would say yes, but this is philosophical. We need to see where things go.
Yeah, it's have you ever read Mona Lisa Overdrive, the William Gibson book, or Snow Crash? That's kind of what I think they're going for, but there's a long way to go.
Long way to go. Yeah.
Fair enough. Next question is from Claudia. Does Circuit Stream help with job placement?
Well, a little bit of a teaser, and not officially. We don't have like placement service or career service at this moment. We do that like indirectly. We have helped students with job interviews and preparing them. Even I think that you mentioned, who you just mentioned someone. My memory is terrible. That got the first job. Who was?
Oh, Kristen Monsanto?
Yeah, Kristen. So I know that like one of our instructors, Cash, helped her to prepare for the interview. So we kind of do that in the one-on-ones. We do support. It's not something like structured and not official at this point, but it's something that we're looking at. So just stay tuned. It's we can help, but it's gonna become something more structured, not too far away from now. Just a teaser, a spoiler.
Yeah, something that we get a lot of questions about, and definitely like when Cherry created the curriculums here, that was something that was definitely taken into into consideration. Just the whole, build a portfolio, receive your certifications. You want to have something to appeal to employers, like when you're looking to enter that arena. So that's the start. And then, as Jerry mentioned, stay tuned. We have some really exciting things kind of in the works. So we'll hope to provide an update on that, in the near future. And great question. Question from Francis. I'm also a UX designer. Is there a portion of any of the courses that tackles accessibility, usability, testing, and research for XR?
Yeah, so this is something that we're tackling the XR interaction design and prototyping course. So we talk a little bit about accessibility, use a lot about usability. Now we talk a little bit about testing and researching as well for XR. So we have someone teaching that portion of the course, which is Alita. She is like a super experienced XR designer. She wrote most of the materials out there, so she knows a lot about how to do those kind of things. And we do have the first module of the course that tackles all of those things before we get into the more technical bits, like before we get into Unity. So yeah, in the XR course, we discuss all of those things.
Lovely. I hope that helps, Francis. Question from Nikolaus. I hope I pronounced that correctly. What resources would you recommend for learning about VR for modeling and simulation for industrial robotics? There's a program called RoboDK I'm learning right now. Can you recommend any related resources? What resources are there for VR and manufacturing?
That's a hard question because that's a lot there. It would be easier, like if you have some experience, to book some one-on-one consultations. One of the things that I can recommend specifically for simulations, robotic, and manufacturing is checking Unity Reflect. So Unity has a product which is called Unity Reflect, which was designed specifically for those kind of things, like for manufacturing, construction, architecture, and it connects with most of the softwares out there that people use. For example, Revit, Adobe Inventor, I think, all of those softwares that were for engineering in general, and you can connect that in a nice way with Unity and make VR experiences out of there. So I would recommend that you check a little bit about Reflect, but that's not an easy answer. And that's not an easy answer. It depends on your level of expertise, what kind of project, but I would start there. I would start checking what is possible to do with Reflect.
And this is tickling something in my memory. I did Unity has their seminar every year where they announce all of the new features and things. I can't remember the name of it, but they announced that they were going to be developing a robotics training lab in Unity where you could go program arms and watch them using the industry standing languages. I just can't remember. I think it's called the Robot Lab.
Oh, the Robot Lab. Yeah. I'm not sure it's out. Myself, I have never experienced that, but I have seen some videos and it's super cool. They're looking into like digital twins and making that thing a little bit more straightforward. So, but it's still in the beginning, I think. But yeah, that's a good call. That's a really good call.
Good stuff. Yeah, great question. And that's just kind of a testament to, again, where this technology is being applied. I think it's going to be huge in manufacturing and kind of automation. Great question, Niklaus. Question from Shravan. Building on Manny's question, does CircuitStream or the partner university offer any type of career placement services for alumni?
I think I have just answered that. I think it's similar. Yeah. So, go ahead.
So yeah, our partners, I'm certain they would have avenues that could help you with your employment or how to kind of pursue a certain profession. Again, that's something that's in the works for us, and we are looking into it. But as of now, nothing official in that regard. Next question, again, Shravan. What is the difference between CircuitStream's Unity Certified User Programmer Credential versus Unity Certified Associate Programmer Credential? Does one have more weight over the other?
So actually, I think there's a little bit of confusion there. What's the difference between CircuitStream Unity Certified User? Oh, so it's not a CircuitStream Unity Certified User. It's the Unity Certified User Programmer. Just prepare you for that. So they have different tiers and different levels. So the Associate comes after the user level. So to be an associate, you need to be like a young professional. You already have some experience. Whereas the user level, you basically know you don't need to have like professional experience. It's for someone that knows how to use the tool with some level of comfort. So both of those certifications, they are offered by Unity, not by us. We just prepare you for those. So in the intro to Unity, we're going to be preparing you for the Unity certified user. And in the XR Dev, we can prepare you to the Unity certified associate. So they have user, associate, professional, and expert. That's basically how it progresses.
Thank you, Jerry. Next question is from Ragabir. Is there scope of developing as a freelancer / small company, i.e. are there projects that you have come across that use freelancers?
Is there scope? Oh, go ahead. I was just reading out loud.
If you sign up for Blend Market, I get probably 2 or 3 pitches a week for companies that are looking for AR content. The one that I saw most recently that looked like it'd be fun was somebody wanted to use their label on a beer bottle as a tag and had some kind of an animation to give people an AR experience every time they had one of the bottles. I've seen one that was done for Pizza Hut that turned the top of their box into a Pac-Man game. So yeah, they're out there, and Blend Market is the best one I've seen. I posted one in the chat that I just heard about actually earlier today. So I don't know anything about them yet, but they do the same thing. So.
And Jerry, did you want to weigh in at all?
No, I think that's a perfect question. I can talk a little bit about my professional experience as well. Like at Circuit Stream, we used to build projects that are not only education at some point, and we work with freelancers at many different stages of the project. So yeah, definitely something there. So I think that Lee answered that perfectly already. Like it's definitely one of the possibilities. If you can organize yourself, you're gonna find lots of different projects that you can contribute as a freelancer for sure.
Yeah, so that seems like a gold nugget, especially for you, Ragbeer. So Blend Market, definitely check that out, and that will hopefully put you on the right track. Another question from Ragbeer: is there scope of developing?
Oh, it's the same one.
That's the same one. Okay. Question from Harry. I am currently working as a civil engineer. Do you think there is any problem to start with my career as a XR AR developer after taking this course, given that I have almost zero experience in coding and computer science?
Well, no, I don't see any problems with that. But considering you're transitioning, it's the same as transitioning to any other careers. You're going to need to dedicate lots of time to make sure you are prepared. So having no background is not a problem. We can definitely help you with there, but you need to know that it takes like time and effort. You need to, as Lee said, like he was dedicating, like he was making that his full-time job just to make sure he was picking up on the things. Oh, you didn't have any, did you have any experiences, programming experiences before? Like
me?
Yeah.
My degree is in computer science, but that was 30 years ago. So yes, and I've done some hobby programming since then, but nothing in Unity and nothing with C# before I started, other than the videos and things that I was doing online. So, but yeah, I had a basic understanding of coding and loops and all of the basic structures that you use. Yes. And I'm finding that I'm growing a lot since then because I'm doing it a lot more. I've started learning Lambda expressions and I'm getting into more advanced topics and ways to work with data and things. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's a progression. So back to the question, I don't think there's any problem with that. But transitioning from one career to the other, it requires dedication and effort. But we can. If there's something that you want to do and something that you can do, we are definitely there to help.
Yeah, I thought it was going to. No, that's right. Go ahead.
No, sorry, Lee. Go ahead.
I expected when I finished the class that for it to be an instant kind of thing because everybody talks about how many jobs are out there right now, and there are jobs, but you still have to put the effort in. You still have to make yourself attractive. You have to understand how to write your portfolio so that it gets past the bots. because a lot of companies are screening with bots right now. You have to put enough out on LinkedIn for people to get a feel for who you are when they go visit you out there. There are pieces to getting a job now that were not there when I did this the last time. I actually hadn't done a job interview in 30 years. So it is a little bit of a different world, but it's definitely doable. You just have to put the time and effort in and get involved. So,
yeah, very, very good point. In terms of another question from Francis here, do you have to have coding or programming background to be able to work with Unity? Good question.
Yeah, not necessarily. It depends a lot on what you're going to be doing in Unity. So Unity is a game engine. It allows you to do a bunch of different things in there. So for example, someone that is a level designer, it's basically like creating environments. You don't need any coding programming experience with that. So it's possible to be a Unity professional with zero coding experience. Unity has, for example, the artist track. So you can be like an expert artist, Unity expert artist without knowing how to code. So there are different paths in there. So it really depends on what you're planning, what your career is going to be there. But it's recommended to know it at least a little bit, even if you're not like the expert, not the programming person, to have a little bit of experience or a little bit of knowledge, because it helps you to communicate with the team and it helps you to get past a couple of challenges in there. So it really depends. It's not necessary, but it's useful, and it depends. So if you're gonna become a Unity developer, like programmer, you do need to be really good at C#. But if you're gonna be like a tech artist or someone working in animations, I don't know. It depends. It's possible to work with Unity with no coding experience.
well, and with Bolt incorporated now, you can do it with the drag and drop system too. The Unity bought a thing called Bolt, which is you basically drop the programming pieces in and connect them by lines. You don't have to type any code.
Yeah, but that's programming. But that's programming too. Like it's visual programming. Yeah. So the logic is, if you can do that, you can program, and if you can program, you can do that. So of course there are preferences, and people tend to look into both and say, okay, this is easier than programming. It's not. It's the same. It's just you need to know how to structure. Yeah, to structure your problem in a way that it can be solved in chunks, like it's an algorithm. So if you can do that in both, you know how to program. Maybe you just prefer to use a visual language, but that's really cool. Like people really like that. Like people that take the design course, they usually like. We have a workshop on that. I think that Indica makes. So if you search there, you're gonna see that we have one workshop on both, which is this nice tool. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I admit I was just as lost learning visual scripting as I was C#. So, so you have to really familiarize yourself with both and kind of understand structurally how they need to be created.
Yeah.
Another question from Shrivan. Last question: can we use the skills we learn with Unity or CircuitStream on the blockchain or crypto world?
Well, the basic skills, I would say yes, because if you have never heard anything about programming and you learn like Unity, you're gonna learn like loops and conditionals and what is a class and all of those things. And then when you go work with blockchain or crypto, probably is gonna be a different language like Python or whatever. The structure is basically the same. So if you know how to program, it's not that hard to learn a different thing, but they are very unrelated. They are completely different things. So I think it helps because you know the basis, but it's not a direct application. It's different.
Fair enough. Great question, Shrivan. That is it for the questions, the Q&As. Oh, we just got another one. Do I need to have a VR headset to enroll in the course?
You don't need to have a VR headset, but it's highly recommended, because at some point, if you don't have one, it's gonna be hard for you to experiment your own experiences. So you can emulate that in the editor, but it's not the same. So if you want to become a VR developer, at some point you need to have VR capabilities. So it's not a requirement. You can definitely go without one, but you're gonna feel the need of having one. So it's strongly recommended.
Yeah, beautiful. Lee, how often did you use your headset going through the course?
Constantly. I use it probably every half hour when I'm coding, just to fire up and make sure that what I'm doing is doing what I expect it to. So yeah, all the time. I actually made a little hook to hang it right here by the wall, and it's always with me. So yeah.
Until they're hands free. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. That's it. So.
Okay, excellent. So that is all the questions we have for today. Really appreciate everyone's time, everyone who attended today, and of course, Lee, your insights are very much appreciated. Jerry, I know you're a busy guy, so the fact that you spent this much time answering questions and sharing some insights with us, very much appreciated for both of you. And we will be doing another open house later on this month, so stay tuned. And that's about it for now. Is there any other kind of last minute remarks, anything like that?
If you're interested, do it, because it is a fantastic time. That's the big one. Get out there and start.
That's a great point. Yeah, get involved. Like just do the basics to get started. Like what Lee did, familiarize yourself with as much self-directed content as you can. Familiarize yourself with some of the processes and tools, and then when you really want to ramp up your skill set, we're here to certainly support you in that.
Yeah. Well, if you're starting the Unity developer course, the Circuit Stream course, you might want to go to the Unity site and just take their Create with Code course. It's a free course that you can go through that'll get you the basics to get you started. And then when you hit it, you'll hit the ground running. You'll have the what you need to just jump right in. So.
Great point. Okay, excellent. That's where we'll wrap. Really appreciate it, everyone. And until next time, happy XR journeys. Adios, everybody.
Bye.